Welcome. This is like our earliest recap show. We're hitting the live button before midnight Eastern time, which I love. We're here to recap Week 10. I have Ryan with me, like always, and this is gonna be an interesting week. I think this is kind of a turning point. I feel like people have started. I don't know if you feel this way, or if it was only me, but did you feel like things were a little bit quieter on Twitter this week?
Yeah, just a tad.
A little
bit.
Yeah,
I didn't hear as much.
It feels like for a lot of people, if you're not a diehard, we've played 9 weeks. After this week, it'll be 10. If you're 3-7, it's over. If you're 2-8, it's over. Redraft, it's over. Like, it is what it is at that point.
Yeah, nothing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do, really. Like, it's redraft out of the playoffs.
That's why I think redraft league should implement something like a
Last
toilet
place.
bowl. A toilet bowl at the end. The winner of the toilet bowl gets the first pick next year. You know what I mean?
Last place punishment.
Something like that.
Yeah, last place punishment I think is fun.
Last place punishment. Yeah, that's another good one. There's a lot of good stuff to keep people involved, and your commissioner just has to be a good commissioner and implement that.
I know, it's honestly, good commissioner is so key, so key.
Especially in redraft. Dynasty, you're all year round because you can make trades with playoff teams. If you don't have a trade deadline, you get add to their
Dynasty,
team.
a good commissioner is so important.
Yeah.
If you don't have a good commissioner for Dynasty, you really run into a lot of problems. There's usually can be more money. There's more things happen. You really need a good commissioner.
Shout out Steven. I'd be getting those emails at 4 a.m. You're grinding, Steven.
I know. All right. So this was an interesting week of football. I feel like it was a little less crazy than last week.
Yeah, a little less crazy.
I'm not sure the football was better. Maybe it was a little better.
There's a couple really good games.
There were there were not that many total clunkers. There were a lot of blowouts, but really only Detroit and Pittsburgh I would call a clunker.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody played well in that game. That was bad football.
Bad football all around, except maybe DeAndre Swift in the Lions running back room. They get an A+, the running back room.
Yeah, when we think of Godwin Equebuque.
I didn't see that one coming. I was trash talking DeAndre Swift to some analytics thing. I was presenting an argument to one of my friends, not trash talking. I love DeAndre Swift, but he's like, okay, go ahead and trash talk him again. He's going to do really good. And then I can't pronounce his name.
Godwin Equebuque?
Equebuque, yeah. He got the touchdown run right after that. I was like, I guess my trash talk does work for the Lions.
Lamar Jefferson had a touchdown run too.
Looked impressive. It was 30 yards.
Godwin Equebuque and Jamar Jefferson totaled 5 carries and 2 rushing touchdowns. And DeAndre Swift had 33 carries and no rushing touchdowns. That's how you know you're not lucky.
It's the variance, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes it hits.
Sometimes it doesn't. All right. Is there anything big you want to talk about? Anything big picture? Any big movers and shakers?
Big picture?
Yeah.
Well, why did we doubt the Chiefs?
Who doubted the Chiefs? I've been the one.
There's a couple of people that have been doubting them, but
I've been the one sitting here every week saying, yes, Mahomes is still my QB1. No, I'm not ready to change it. No, I'm not that close to changing it. I've been the one sitting here saying that every week.
Well, I'm not saying you specifically. I'm saying the community.
No, I know it's not me specifically, but
there was some panic. But the offense they ran tonight, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, it looks so much better. Minus Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Daryl, did you see that catch?
Yes.
Dude was out there like a wide receiver.
Think Clyde makes that catch? No, it's time to recognize your mistake. It's time to recognize your mistake if you're the Chiefs. You made a mistake. You drafted a player in the first round who, for all his potential, can't contribute on the goal line. is an efficient runner, sort of, but nothing special. Nothing special. It's not like he's great at that. He's inconsistent. He fumbled. He started fumbling this year, so a new fumbling problem that he didn't have originally. Well, I don't want a part of a fumbling problem. That doesn't sound good. And then on top of that, for some reason, despite the fact, and this part I don't understand, but obviously at this point, it doesn't matter. He can't produce in the passing game. I don't know why, but he can't. It's the reality of the situation. Darrell Williams, who has no college receiving profile at all, and is just a guy, suddenly is producing the receiving game, where Clyde Edwards-Helaire, through a season and a half, has never really produced anything in the receiving game. And, it's around this time, and like Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, Marlon Mack before them, Sony Michel, you start accepting that it's not going to happen. And receiving-wise, at least. I don't think it's going to happen with Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I agree with you, but I always go back to the fact of, can you imagine if they drafted like JT or like DeAndre Swift?
I mean, they'd have the best offense in the league.
That
JT anyway.
That front office, they have made some mistakes, but they've made a lot of. No front office is perfect, but like fantasizing about that offense or fantasy with two of those picks switched, be something else.
I just don't know what to do with Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yep, you have to hold at this point.
Yeah, but but that's risky, right? Imagine you hold him. He comes back. He's fully healthy. He should be in the offense. And he gets 3 carries to Darrell Williams, 17 next week. Then what's his value? How bad is it then?
See, but I just don't think the value's high enough.
I don't think he has much value. I don't
exactly. So I'd be more persuaded to take the risk of him coming back and getting.
Well, I mean, there are clearly some people who think that CH, if my mentions are any indication, there are some people who think that CH is going to waltz right back in and produce for fantasy, but he's never produced for fantasy.
See, I'm not saying that. I'm arguing that the risk versus the reward outweighs the risk, because there's like no risk left.
There's plenty of risk. I mean, if you're telling me I can get like a couple of second-round picks, and then maybe after next week I can't get any picks, that's risk. I mean, there's still risk then.
There's always going to be risk, but the risk is deflated. Because last year, he like what, the 101?
Sure. If you could turn Clyde Edwards-Helaire into A.J. Dillon, let's just hypothetically, Aaron Jones sprained his MCL today. That is going to require him, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire sprained his MCL. That was 6 weeks ago. That's going to require Aaron Jones more than likely to miss the rest of the fantasy season. He might come back for 1 week. But for the next 4 weeks minimum, you're going to have A.J. Dillon as a starter. 4 or 5 weeks. Would you rather have Clyde Edwards-Helaire or A.J. Dillon? In Dynasty, in redraft, it's obviously A.J. Dillon. Well, you don't have to ask.
A.J. Dillon easily. I mean, I'm not familiar with Aaron Jones' contract. I'm going to Google it here when they have an out in it. I don't know. I don't think it's.
They have an out after next year, so they're really stuck in it for next year.
That's kind of a bummer, but A.J. Dillon, when he has the football in his hands, just looks so good.
Jones was actually already looking like he was benched before he was injured. They were suddenly getting Dillon more touches this week. There was a lot of discussion about more touches for Dillon.
Yeah, I mean, and he's looked good on the touches he's received, so.
He has looked good on the touches he's received.
It's not like he's middling in there pushing for Aaron Jones back at that point. He looked good all season.
Yeah. And we know he can handle workload too.
Yep.
Great week. I snuck a big win without Chubb or AB. Congratulations. And my extra first slipped into last. You're not going to have AB next week either. So AB, I don't know when AB is coming back. It's going to be,
run.
If ever.
He'll come back to the playoff run.
Yeah. I don't think we see AB in the regular season. But at this point with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like, I don't even know what to do with him. Like, I get it, but I'm worried.
I don't even think you get AJ Dillon at this point.
No, you won't be able to do that.
No. So like,
Can you get? I mean, what can you even get? Can you get?
I don't know.
Michael Carter? No, right?
That might even be pushing it with all the
You're
targets.
not going to get that. Not anymore. Can you get?
That's 1 second from last year.
Miles Sanders?
You probably could, but would you, like Miles Sanders?
I think that's the same problem. That's actually the exact same thing that's going on. Miles Sanders is injured. Suddenly, other running backs come in, and suddenly the running game with running backs suddenly functions. It's the same problem. Except it's the opposite. It's the opposite problem. In that one, suddenly they're able to run on the ground with the other running backs. This time, it's the receiving game with the running backs that suddenly got turned on when Clyde Edwards-Helaire came out. But there's weird things going on with those two.
Well, the Eagles didn't run the ball with Sanders anyway. It's not like they tried.
But why didn't they run the ball with Sanders? It's the same thing. Why didn't they pass the ball to CEH? They chose not to throw it to him. Why did they choose not to run the ball with Sanders? They certainly could have.
Choosing not to throw the ball to CEH is different than the Eagles abandoned the whole run game. Like, it wasn't just Sanders at that point. It was everybody. And
but then the second Sanders goes out, all of a sudden the run game is turned back on.
Yeah, don't ask me why. It's
why
weird.
Is that? That doesn't make – because Jordan Howard is available, that all of a sudden it makes more sense to run the ball?
Turn it back to his rookie year, 2016.
That was a long time ago. That was 5 years ago.
Clock.
But Boston Scott also got 11 carries.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird in Philly.
It is really weird also because Howard and Scott totaled 164 yards on their 23 carries.
Looking good. Yeah.
Crazy.
I couldn't tell you what it is with Miles Sanders. I could tell you what it is with CEH. It's CEH like not producing. Miles Sanders is just they don't want to use him for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's been more evidence that at some point that Miles Sanders is actually good. There's really been no evidence that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is anything more than just replacement level. None.
Yeah, Miles Sanders.
What has he done? What has Clyde Edwards-Helaire actually done in the NFL that's more than replacement level? Nothing, really. I think you could have given anyone his touches, and it would have been almost the same. What do we do with Miles Sanders when he comes back?
You can't start him right away.
Well, I mean, that depends on what your options are.
True.
But in Dynasty, I would look to sell, of course. I don't really like Miles Sanders. But you might have the same problem. I don't know. I don't know what to do with Miles Sanders.
See, but I feel like there might be a manager that looks at the Eagles' run game and is like, oh, Sanders will finally step back. And I feel like you can find someone that thinks that. I don't think you're going to find many people with CH that believe that at all.
There are. I'll tell you. I learned today that there are. There are more people who believe in CEH than I thought. They might be Chiefs fans. I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, they have – I guess they have I'll allow it from them.
You know, it's always the same argument. For me, it's kind of like the reality. You know, I care more about the reality. Who did produce for me? It's time. I mean, Clyde hasn't produced for me. It's too much time. I mean, I'm tired of it. I want someone who's going to produce for me. Right now, Darryl is producing for me. So,
yeah, 30 points almost tonight.
So, you know, and I don't know. I don't have time to worry about why Clyde isn't producing. Why Clyde isn't producing, how many fantasy points does that score you? How much does that help you win a dynasty title? Does that win any games for you? That, you have a whole theory about why Clyde Edwards-Helaire isn't producing. How many fantasy points does that score?
It's not many.
0. It scores you 0 fantasy points. It does not help you. So, you know, in that case, it's the same with Miles Sanders. Like, I could spend a lot of time thinking about why Nick Sirianni and his flower garden are not putting Miles Sanders in the lineup. But what good does that do anybody? That doesn't help. I don't know. Only I'm not going to know. Sometimes it's just a reality that you have to accept. And it is what it is. Not everything in life has a why. And sometimes even if it does, it's based on information that you cannot access. I can't read Nick Sirianni's mind. I don't know. I don't have a source inside the Eagles locker room or the Chiefs where I can find out that information. So I just have to accept that I'm not going to know. And move on from there.
I wonder what inside Nick Sirianni's head is like. I wonder.
I know he's thinking about flower gardens. I know that.
That's confirmed.
It's confirmed. Yeah.
That's confirmed.
All right. Let's talk. You want to talk about a player we like a little bit better?
Oh, yes.
All right. Thoughts on Ramondre Stevenson looked effective today. Okay. So let me ask you a couple of questions. Yes or no? Is Ramondre Stevenson now the Patriots starter?
Ooh, my gut wants to say yes, but my brain wants to say no. It's I'm split inside because I think he's a better skill set than Damian Harris, but I feel like Bill Belichick's that guy to just roll with Damian Harris.
Yeah, I think the answer is no. I think Damian Harris remains the starter, but I think Damian Harris's value is gone. I actually think now we've gone to having zero. So we're going to have zero startable running backs when both are healthy. You'll be able to start them, but I think you're going to be looking at 2 RB3s, unfortunately. So I like Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, you've seen now what the upside is. With Damian Harris out, Ramondre Stevenson is a high-end RB2. I mean, obviously he was an RB1 in this game, but he is a very playable player if Harris is out or gone or supplanted. But if Harris comes back and is the starter, unfortunately, I think Ramondre Stevenson has now forced an ugly committee. And the only way that gets resolved is if they stop using a third running back entirely, which they don't tend to do.
Bill never will.
That would really help if there were only 2 players involved instead of 3. But I don't think Bill Belichick's going to do that. In Dynasty, though, I'm fine hanging on to Ramondre Stevenson. Let me look at where I had him before. Okay, so before the game, I had him in a range below. So I had a few guys way higher. So I assume Damian Harris, we just talked about. A.J. Dillon, obviously now. Chase Edmonds and Tony Pollard. All of those guys, still prefer them over Ramondre Stevenson?
Not all of them. I'd probably pick and choose. I mean, A.J. Dillon, I definitely prefer
A.J.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Is
different. He's far up there, but I think all those other running backs, I take Ramondre Stevenson over.
Okay. Zach Moss?
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson. He's at least flashed.
Khalil Herbert?
Yeah, I feel like we saw what that was against the Steelers on.
We saw what that was. Yeah, I'd rather go.
Khalil Herbert's a good player, though. It's not a knock on the player; it's a knock on the situation.
Yeah. So he's gonna have to come up in my rankings, but not too far. I don't know exactly where I'm gonna put him, but maybe we'll see. we'll see. We'll have to rank him. But I am very interested in him moving forward.
Great 4th round pick.
Yeah. Thoughts on Mooney after coming back from the bye? He looks like he's starting to form chemistry with Fields.
More than Allen Robinson.
I don't know. Sure on Mooney, but I'm not overly excited, honestly.
No. Neither am I. The Bears' offense is low upside.
Yeah, I think he's going to be perennially a wide receiver 3 at best. I don't think he's ever going to be a weekly wide receiver 2, someone you can ever rank as a wide receiver 2. I think he's going to be someone you rank in wide receiver 3 range, maybe near the higher end in really strong matchups, near the lower end in bad ones. That kind of player. I just think that's all he is, really.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears' offense has to bring someone else in, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah, Allen Robinson is going to walk, and they're going to sign someone else. Could be like Michael Gallup.
Yeah,
That would be interesting.
it would.
What's going on with AJ Brown? Just bad week. Yeah, I mean, it was a bad week, but he had a good week last week. I mean, Julio Jones placed on IR. 1 reception, 16 yards, 4 targets. It is what it is. I mean, all wide receivers have bad weeks.
Yeah.
I will say that this is not good. But what do you want to do about it?
Can't do anything. You just gotta hold and hope for better next week, you know?
Hope for better?
You gotta hope for better with AJ Brown. I mean, tight ends were catching the touchdowns. Like,
yeah, I know.
I don't know if AJ Brown got hurt. I don't know if he got rattled on that pass to the sideline. I know it took him a while to get up, but I don't know if he was like hurt.
Michael Pruitt caught the touchdown, and Jeff Swaim had 4 receptions. So Anthony Ferkser, I mean, you could just cut Anthony Ferkser.
Yeah,
that was such a disaster. That was a big load of nothing from me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you think from Spock again, do you think the Bills address the running back position in the offseason or roll with Moss and Singletary? What do you think?
They're addressing it. I personally
have to. Like, I actually talked about this in my 6-pack article, and I actually mentioned that they 100% have to address the running back position.
Josh Allen carries that offense. If they could bring in like a Breece Hall or an Isaiah Spiller from the draft, I don't know who's the free agent. Maybe Melvin Gordon if he's still kicking around.
Melvin Gordon.
He's looked good. Hasn't looked bad. He's kept Javonte.
You were linked to Melvin Gordon in trade talks this offseason. And when Melvin Gordon was available as a free agent the first time. So I think it's very possible.
They have a lot of options, but I think they know after whatever last season was, they missed out this season because I believe they were going to go ETN in the first round, weren't they?
Maybe. I don't think that's confirmed, but
there's at least rumors tossed around they were going to go ETN in the first. It's like they're at least looking at it.
I think they have to address it. I don't think they can move forward with Boston. I mean, Breida came in today.
2 touchdowns.
I'm tired of. I don't know who I'm more tired of, Moss or Singletary. I mean, they're both bad. They're not bad. They're just okay. They're just okay.
All right.
Yeah, they're just okay. I mean,
can you imagine how much that offense would click with like an above-average back?
Yeah, it would. It would really improve it.
It explode. I mean, Josh Allen carried it all by himself last year to an AFC title game.
I don't know. I think they'll use a draft pick.
I would love to see one of the top 3 backs, even Kenneth Walker.
I mean, they could sign someone in free agency.
I hope it's a whole new look backfield, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to sign someone. I mean, they have Moss and Singletary on their rookie deals for Singletary for 1 more year, Moss for 2. I mean, usually don't cut on rookies who've been okay on cheap deals. So whoever they bring in, it's probably going to be at least somewhat of a 3-way committee, unless it's like a real star. I don't know if unless they get, it's not like the 2022 running back class is deep. So
it's not deep. It's the top 3 guys, and then.
So if they don't get one of those guys, then it's going to be a committee, very ugly committee.
Yeah, and I want them to bring in like 2 people and just redefine the backfield. But I know with the rookie deals, they're only going to bring in 1.
I mean, they could sign Chase Edmonds in free agency.
That'd be pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, I don't think he's a great fit for that offense, but he's not a bad fit for that offense.
Yeah.
There aren't going to be a lot of free agent really running backs though. I mean, Chase Edmonds is a free agent, Melvin Gordon, and then it's all the retreads.
Yeah, I believe so.
Nobody really wants.
Yeah, I'm looking at the class to see if I could. Yeah, David Johnson, Fournette's in there.
Fournette would be interesting, but I would think he's going to re-sign again. especially now that Rojo got no touches.
He's a free agent too. He'll go somewhere as a backup.
Rojo didn't get a single touch. Fournette had 11 carries and 8 receptions, and Rojo had a big fat goose egg. I don't know. Nobody's going to sign. I mean, you're not going to sign Rojo, who's done nothing, as a starter. I mean, Rojo's going to have to sign as a backup. Like, the Bills are not going to sign Rojo. That doesn't solve anything.
No.
That just adds a third player in the same class of value to the problem. That doesn't solve anything. That doesn't solve any of their problems.
Maybe they could try. Raheem Mostert's probably done.
Mostert's done. I mean, I don't even know. I think it'll be interesting to see where Rojo signs. I don't think he'll probably sign somewhere.
I'll get a second.
Marlon Mack is a free agent, but I feel like Marlon Mack is the same as Rojo. It's like you're not going to entrust your starting running back position to Marlon Mack. He's probably going to end up being a backup.
Yeah, I don't see anyone here else that kind of.
There aren't a lot of good.
Sony Michel, I wouldn't.
Sony Michel is not.
Cordell Patterson, I don't.
He got hurt today. I mean, I think the Falcons. I actually think the Falcons are a destination for a running back. Wayne Gallman, by the way, is going to be a waiver ad in Dynasty leagues because Patterson got hurt and Gallman was the starter over Davis. So he'll be a waiver ad. Thoughts on OBJ rest of the season? I mean, it's hard to give thoughts because OBJ hasn't played.
He hasn't played. And
I mean, without Woods,
we went on before the Woods stuff.
Yeah, without Woods, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think OBJ is not as good as Woods, so it's a downgrade for Stafford. But if OBJ has anything left, he'll succeed. If he can't make it here, he's just washed.
I think he will. I mean, the one fantasy stock that did get saved was Van Jefferson.
Well, I think Van is better off now than he was before. So, and I don't believe for a second this news blurb from Jay Glazer's like Ben Skowronek is going to take over the Robert Woods role. That is bullshit. That's bullshit.
Hey, my DFS lineups from tomorrow night are hoping.
That is bullshit. There's no fucking way. And, you know, I will curse on here because my fucking channel. I don't care anymore. I mean, I care, but like, fuck it. That is bullshit. That is ridiculous. If that's true, then why did they draft Van Jefferson in the second round, and why did they sign Odell? And they signed Odell before they even knew Robert Woods was getting hurt. Bullshit. I don't believe it for a second. I did say to pick up Ben Skowronek in waivers because I actually like his profile as a late round pick. And if there were another injury, Odell is hurt all the time. You know, Cooper Kupp has had a history of injuries. And Van Jefferson, we don't know, but, you know, anyone can get hurt at any time. And, you know, they play 3 wide receiver room exclusively. They lost Jacob Harris for the season. They don't have, you know, they released Deshaun Jackson. Woods is gone. There is no one else. Atwell is out for the year. There is no one else. So if they lose any of their receivers to an injury, Ben Skowronek would step into the lineup and could have fantasy value immediately. But he's not stepping into the lineup unless there's an injury. But of course, on the Rams offense, you want a potential piece of it. So I would put him on benches, deep benches, only deep leagues. Benches for Ben Skowronek. But other than that, I don't believe. If that's really true, then OBJ will have no value rest of the season. But I don't buy it.
We're going to find out tomorrow night.
We're going to find out tomorrow, yeah. It's hard to say. We're speculating on. That's more speculating instead of recapping.
Well, yeah, they haven't played. So.
All right, you know what? I refuse to talk about Rashad Bateman. I'll just say that I don't want to freeze talk about Rashad Bateman, but like I will say that the way that people handled talking to me about Rashad Bateman pissed me off. It didn't accomplish anything. It only just made me upset. People were saying like I'm hard-headed, but I'm not. When you're lower on a player and you move with the player's results, similarly to everyone else, you tend, even if you move the same, you end up being lower. I see rankings on Twitter with people with Rashad Bateman in people's dynasty top 10s. I think that's insane. I'm never going to be there. I don't think Rashad Bateman could rank as a dynasty top 10 wide receiver in this offense. I do not think that's possible unless a black hole came and took Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown away, and also just removed the possibility of having competent running backs in this offense in the future. So I don't think I'm ever going to rank Rashad Bateman as a top 10 dynasty wide receiver. So if I'm never going to rank him as a top 10 dynasty wide receiver because the ceiling's not there and my mind is not going to change, telling me I'm not going to be convinced. So, just the dialogue around that was just, I felt like was a little bit harsh on me when it's just I've thought about it. I've been there. I didn't like him as much pre-draft either. And, I factor that into my projection on his ceiling. It's the ceiling that I disagree with, not the floor. I actually think he's a very good player. People always think I hate Rashad Bateman. I don't. It's the ceiling I don't see. The floor I agree with. I think he's very good. But I don't see future star in Rashad Bateman at all. I never have. So when it says the number one role, I mean, I do think Mark Andrews is what makes this offense go. And then Hollywood is like a deep threat. Look, with Hollywood, you can get all the yards at once. So Hollywood has been very good. To say that Bateman's been more efficient is maybe he's caught a higher percentage of the touches, but Hollywood Brown has had so many big plays this year, and he's been the fantasy guy. So I don't know. Yeah, I would say never, but we'll see.
I mean, if you were one of the people that was high on Rashad Bateman, of course the injury happened, but after that, you have to be pleased with his level of play thus far.
But I have been pleased with it. Yeah. I just don't. There's only so high I can rank Rashad Bateman because he doesn't have the ceiling. He doesn't have the ceiling. Rashad Bateman's not going to be ever going to be, more than. I mean, Rashad Bateman hasn't scored. He's been fine, but he hasn't been. It's not like he's been a world beater in the 4 games he's played.
I wouldn't expect him to be, especially at this point in the rookies. I know all the other rookies are having their moments. Jamar Chase, the whole first part of the season.
I just think it's the best situation's ever going to be. They have no competent running backs. None at all. And rightly so. They're passing the ball more. I expect that to change. Next year, I expect that to change. And if that changes and the volume goes down, then there's just no room for Rashad. I mean, Lamar Jackson has thrown an average of 271 passing yards a game this year. But his efficiency stats have not really improved. He's not really much better in yards per attempt. He's not better in adjusted yards per attempt. Completion percentage is identical to last year. So he hasn't been better throwing it. All that's happened is that he's thrown it more. So why would we think that that's going to continue? That's my one issue is I don't think that's going to continue. I think that's happening because they are incapable of running the ball with running backs at all. And you cannot use, you just can't run the ball into the ground with bad running backs constantly. It won't work.
I mean, it worked 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and maybe they were able to, get a little something out of it. But Can you imagine if they had J.K. Dobbins?
The offense would be
how much better. I mean, he already has 309 passing attempts in 9 games. He had 376 last year in 15 games and 401, 2 years ago in 15 games. I don't think that his current rate of passing is the reality. I think the 401 is probably more accurate than the 376, but I don't think it's far off. The current pace is not realistic.
I get that. They're going to bring the running backs back. I do think Lamar is a good passer. I know he gets a lot of...
But nothing has changed about Lamar as a passer. He has the identical completion percentage this year to last year. His yards per attempt is better. Adjusted yards per attempt is almost the same. Touchdown to interception, he has fewer touchdowns this year and almost as many interceptions as he threw all of last year. He has not become a better passer. Nothing has changed. The only difference is that they're throwing more, and it's not working. It's not better. So I don't understand, if it's not better, why they would proceed with that moving forward. So that's why I have an issue with this. And it's obvious that, and I'm looking at the numbers again, and it's not like I'm looking at them and changing my mind. I'm looking at the numbers again and sticking to what I thought, not changing it. Because I look at the numbers and they just they're confirming what I'm saying. Right? I mean, that's everything I said was true. And they're confirming my thought pattern on this.
Yeah, I just think he scores really good in the... I don't have it off the top of my head. I have a headache right now. The advanced stats, I have to look into them and tweet them out. I swear. I'm not making stuff up here, but he's...
Lamar? Or
Lamar.
I guess so, but it's not, it's not necessarily translating to actual improved fantasy production through the air, other than increased volume. And, that volume can be taken away. All right. Elijah Moore, a future star.
I'm here for it, but I don't know.
I don't know either.
He's had a good past couple of games, and this game started off a little rough. He got the touchdown to save it late, but...
Yeah, but that's in garbage time with Flacco.
Yeah, I know. I've liked what I've seen, though, with Mike White out there.
Well, I don't think you're going to see Mike White again.
And they're not going to see much of Mike White, because Mike White had...
Oh, this is bad.
An all-timer the other direction.
Yeah, no, this is not good. I think the Mike White, and some of these interceptions were really bad.
Yeah, I mean, you just had the feeling the Bills were going to come out and just drop 50 on them after losing to the Jags.
No, I had that feeling too. But
yeah, I was doing a picks pool and trying to be different, pick the Jets. I don't know what I was doing, but I mean, that game was anything Josh Allen wanted, he got. Stephon Diggs finally had the big game.
I know.
We've been waiting for it so long. He finally got the big game. And he looked fantastic. He should have scored the first time. He got it back on the next play. I mean, we're back on track as a top, I'd say, 5 wide receiver. I mean, we've been ranking him there. Or at least
I've been ranking him there every week.
Yeah, so have I. But now we're back on track. He got the big targets finally. I believe it was 13.
Yeah, Cole Beasley played no snaps.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Did he get hurt?
I didn't see. I was watching Red Zone all day, and they didn't have much on the game because it was just, oh, Mike White interception. Oh, Mike White interception. Josh Allen touchdown. Wasn't much of a game, but I'm still impressed by the Bills, honestly.
Yeah.
That amount of points is no small feat, but I feel like we should go to a different game because we don't have to talk about that one.
No, there's not much to talk about, is there?
You see the Falcons' Twitter?
Oh, yes. I know what you're referring to. I know what you're referring to. They were like, we know. At
least the Falcons' Twitter is self-aware.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better than a lot of people on Twitter, let me tell you.
That was a bad game, but not bad for CeeDee Lamb.
No, it was good for CeeDee Lamb. It was good
Very
for
good for
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb. I was impressed.
It was good for CeeDee Lamb. It was good for Tony Pollard. It was good for Ezekiel Elliott. It was less good for Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, it was good for everyone but Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz, not so much. He should have had that touchdown, but Dak missed him. So what were they doing, giving Dak a goal line carry in the fourth quarter? I don't understand. When they were up like 30 points, that seemed crazy. Like to risk him on that, but oh well. From Spock, will Edmonds resign next year? Thoughts on rest of season considering Connor? I mean, I thought that Edmonds would definitely resign before he got hurt. At this point, I would guess that he resigns, but we'll see.
That we will. I don't think he will. I think Arizona's going to redesign their backfield as well, unless he wants to come back on the cheap, which is the running back. So
yeah, I think though he could resign. They like him in his role. I bet Connor walks.
I could see either happen, and they'll probably keep one.
They'll probably keep one. Yeah, in free agency, just to give them something going into the draft. And then they'll see if they need someone else. I think they re-sign Edmonds, but depends on how badly his injury is. And how well Connor plays down the stretch. This game was not, he was fine. For fantasy, he was good. Benjamin got 6 carries. When the Cardinals were dumpster fire, they need Kyler Murray back so badly.
They definitely
also, Rondale Moore is like so frustrating.
Yeah, it kind of feels like I'm not trying to jinx anything, but it kind of feels like Laviska Shenault this year, kind of all over again. Like we know Rondale Moore's talented. We know he can get those like short area touches.
A little. Yeah, a little.
Of course, Laviska has next to no target competition, and Rondale Moore has a ton of target competition with DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, who's been improved this year. I like what I've seen out of Christian Kirk, and then AJ Green.
Kirk has earned himself some money. I don't see how the Cardinals can afford it. I mean, they could. They could sign Kirk and, let Green walk and have Hopkins, Kirk, and Moore. But I don't think they're going to re-sign Kirk. That seems like a luxury. And Kirk they can't afford. Kirk is not worth the franchise tag. And I just don't think they're going to be able to afford to sign him to the contract that I think they're going to get outbid by someone who needs a wide receiver 2 more than they do.
I wholeheartedly agree. I would say
Kirk sign. There's a lot of options.
I would say Atlanta, but they have no money.
Also, Atlanta's a bad fit because they have Kyle Pitts who plays a lot like in the slot. It needs to be somewhere that has – because Kirk can play on the outside, but he's better in the slot.
True. There's a lot of teams. Teams always need wide receivers.
Yeah, you know where I think actually Christian Kirk would fit in very well?
Where?
Kansas City. I do think so.
They need another Sammy Watkins.
Christian Kirk is pretty good, boring, and would actually be competent as their wide receiver 2, which they have not had. So he would work out well there. In Buffalo, if they're done with Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley, and they sign Kirk, and Kirk is there too, and then so they slide Gabriel Davis as the 3, and Dawson Knox at tight end, Buffalo.
That wouldn't look bad.
Wouldn't look bad. There's someone here saying, Spock saying, Kirk's the Steelers. I don't think so. I don't think they can afford that. They're going to need to get a contract for Deontay Johnson. And Deontay Johnson is just a better version of Kirk in every way. He does everything Kirk does, except a lot of other things on top of that. So I don't think they have room for Kirk.
I think they'll just keep Juju. Honestly, Juju wants to play there. I know how you feel about Juju, but I feel like that's the most likely scenario.
If Juju's willing to take a 1 year deal for $2 million, maybe, but
I don't. He already took a 1 year deal
for $8 million.
True, but he had a multi-year
he's
deal
not worth $8 million now
on the table with Kansas City. So
I think he's going to go somewhere else. But either way, I don't think Kirk is going to sign with the Steelers. I think Kirk is looking at like $30 million or more.
Good for him.
Yeah. No, he's earned himself a lot of money. There's a lot of destinations. I mean, the Lions are new look Lions. They could use any receiver.
Yeah, they could.
I mean, they could. I mean, the Saints have no receiver. I mean, he could fit in. I mean, who knows who the quarterback's going to be? The Packers always need another receiver.
That never happens.
Literally, Christian Kirk could sign in most offenses. The only thing is they have to have room for someone who plays a lot in the slot. So, somewhere like the Jets that already has Elijah Moore is probably not going to work. Somewhere Kirk is a poor fit on his own team. They drafted his replacement. Rondale Moore is his replacement.
Yeah, they did.
Kirk is a poor fit on his own team and always has been because they had Larry Fitzgerald the whole time before now. So Kirk has always been miscast. But there are a lot of offenses where he would fit. I've named a few. I mean, if the Browns decide to move on from Jarvis, that would be terrible for fantasy. But that's a place he could go. What about the Chargers? I mean, I guess they do have Keenan Allen.
Yeah, Keenan Allen.
But it's not the best fit. But you always want people to go with Justin Herbert. I really do think the Chiefs are the one that actually makes the most sense. They need him. He would fit in well with the offense. He can do everything that they would need to do.
I agree. I would love to see
that. That one makes sense.
Look, every time a wide receiver is either on the free agent market or in the draft,
we always link them.
You're going to Kansas City
or Green Bay.
Yep.
We always link them to those same places, and no one ever signs it. Also, another one, I think actually the Colts. The Colts need a 2. They don't have a 2. They have Pitman as an alpha 1, but they don't have a 2. They tried Paris Campbell. That's a failure. They tried T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton is washed. Zach Pascal is just a guy. They need a 2. All right, let's talk about some of these questions. So Connor to the Bills, that's just another Zach Moss. Connor's just another Zach Moss. So that doesn't solve anything. So I don't think that's good enough. I think they need to do better than that. Cam Newton start rest of season. Yes, right? I mean, you would say yes?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And Cam Newton is a quarterback 1 for you, assuming he's the starter?
Yeah, pretty easy.
I totally agree.
He looked good today on limited reps as well. I know it doesn't count for much.
Cam Newton is washed, but it doesn't matter if he runs. He was able to throw the ball like 2 feet. I'm impressed with that.
The fact that he vultured a touchdown from Christian McCaffrey on the goal line, I'm in.
I
That hurt, but I'm in.
I know. No, I mean, Cam is probably quarterback 1 as long as he's on the field as a starter.
You ready
like
for the
Taysom
revenge
Hill
game narrative this week?
Yeah, I know. I heard about that on the broadcast.
Ready for that?
I mean, Taysom Hill's not a good quarterback, but he was a quarterback 1 when he played.
He's a quarterback 1 in tight end slot. Yep.
But really, I would encourage you to think about Cam Newton like you would think about Taysom Hill, because really, they're at this point in their career, that's what Cam Newton is. That's what he is. And Taysom Hill was able to still support Michael Thomas, and those were the games last year Michael Thomas actually played, and Michael Thomas was fine. Yeah. So, I do worry a little bit though. But at least Cam Newton's played with DJ Moore.
That's true.
DJ Moore was fine with Cam Newton as a rookie. Cam Newton's the starter rest of the season.
Bring back Robbie Anderson. One step at a time.
Yeah. Right. Who's the Panthers 2022 starting quarterback?
Ooh, well, it's not anyone on the roster.
It's not Sam Darnold.
It's not Sam Darnold. Watson's going to Miami. Aaron Rodgers is no way going there. Russell Wilson's not going there. Russell Wilson didn't look good today either.
I saw some mocks with having them picking quarterback.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those. I think it has to be a rookie.
Yeah.
I mean, you're paying Sam Darnold $19 million. How can you afford another quarterback? They're still paying Teddy Bridgewater, aren't they?
Yeah, they're still paying Teddy Bridgewater.
They're paying. I saw the meme. It's too many backups, but like
they're paying Cam Newton to replace Cam Newton's replacement, who they paid to replace Cam Newton's replacement, who they paid to replace Cam Newton. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard management. Joe Brady and Matt Rule deserve better, honestly.
They do. This is an interesting question. Will the Raiders go with Carr long term? He wasn't good. Actually, I take that back. He was fine. He had that one or two plays where I was like, you have got to be kidding me. How is this guy an NFL quarterback?
I thought the ball was hitting the top of the stadium.
But he was fine. I mean, he had a good day.
I mean, are the Raiders going to find a better replacement? Probably not.
How are they going to have access to a better replacement?
I mean, they're not going to pick nowhere near the top 5.
They're not going to pick anywhere near the top in the draft. They're not going to. Who are they going to sign in free agency? I mean, Derek Carr, the guaranteed money in Derek Carr's contract is up. So they could move on with no penalty. I don't think they do.
I'm looking up Russell Wilson's list of teams real quick because if I remember correctly, I believe that the Raiders were on it.
Well, I think it's the kind of thing where, like, if Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson is available to them, I think they'll move on. I don't think they'll move on from Carr for any other veteran.
No.
Or any draft pick that they're going to have. I think they would have moved on from Carr last season if Lawrence were available to them, but not for anyone else in this draft. And I actually think there are no quarterbacks in the 2022 class that they would move on from Carr for. So it's really, if Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson is interested, I think they would do it.
According to the list that Russell Wilson, I guess his agent leaked, the Raiders were on there. So this could play out.
If that occurs, then... But Carr is going to be a starter somewhere.
Yeah.
Carr is too good not to start in 2022. Carr will start.
Hey, Russell Wilson and going back to the Seahawks, they're heading for a very messy breakup.
I agree. DK Metcalf got ejected from today's game.
That he did.
Yeah, you know what? I have some concerns with DK Metcalf. I do. Not because he got ejected, but it's just something about DK Metcalf. Like, this is not the right attitude to being shut out. You know, like, get him next time. Win the next game. Like,
forget about that.
Play better.
I have concerns about his long-term quarterback. Like, I
play
don't think
better because he didn't play well in today's game. DK Metcalf did nothing in today's game. He did not make any impact. So, I don't know. And who's going to be the quarterback?
Geno Smith?
Yeah, no. I mean, if they trade Russell Wilson to the Raiders, the quarterback would be Derek Carr.
True.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
I think it's time for a conversation of how much of a downgrade receivers-wise is Derek Carr from Russell Wilson. People are not ready for that conversation.
I mean, the Seahawks are without a first-round pick. They traded it for Jamal Adams, so it's the Jets now, and they're sitting at 3-6. So it's not like they could even go to any other rookie. They have no option for a rookie. Russell Wilson.
No, I mean Russell Wilson is not. I mean, is not. I don't know. I mean, what are you going to do?
I have no idea. It's going to be an interesting situation to see play out. It's going to be something that happens.
I do think that they're going to move on, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. Would you send Tony a top 3 pick and a 23-second for Diggs as a contender? This is easy. No.
I would do it.
Really? This is too expensive. This is way too expensive. Just after one good game?
It's not the one good game. It's that I
But it
know
is
Diggs
streaming.
is an established receiver with a fantastic quarterback, and I think
No.
the one game that did nothing for me. I was just excited to talk about it.
I would never do it. No. I think that the Diggs of old is the real Diggs. The Diggs in 2018, 2019, and this year, they're all very similar. 2020 is the outlier. And I think that Diggs is good. Great fantasy asset. He's a great player. But this is a lot. This is a lot. Top 3 picks.
I mean,
and Tony too is also not.
Is this super flex?
Super flex. You're probably giving him a quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wouldn't want to do that.
Flex, I was
even in one QB. I don't really want to do this. But
I'm open to it.
I'd be open to it, but I don't want to do this.
I mean,
I'd find another way, I guess.
Yeah, probably a 2023 first, and hope you don't send a top pick. Yeah, hope you don't send Bijan Robinson their way.
Oh my god, that would kill me.
That would be. I would just leave the Dynasty League if I ever did that.
Bijan, yeah, I want Bijan so bad.
He's gonna be so special.
Spock 498. Brandon Cooks wide receiver 2 rest of season. I'd say no.
Borderline.
But I'd say no. I'd say he's just outside.
Yeah, I agree. He's really good. He's proved that he's really good. His quarterback situation is just
quarterback situation is so bad. Yeah.
If he was playing with a decent quarterback, easy yes.
But unfortunately no.
But he's not. So.
All right, from Spock, Carr free agent. Yeah, but the guaranteed money's up, so they can cut him if they want to. But I think they extend him, not cut him. I think they extend him.
Honestly, they'll probably send out a feeler for Russell Wilson, see what if they could acquire him, and if they can't, extend the man. There's anyone better.
But it doesn't matter. Derek Carr is going to be starting. It's not like the Raiders are a good situation anyway. Derek Carr is going to be starting for someone, and he's going to be Derek Carr. It's not like he has great weapons. After losing Ruggs, his weapons went from satisfactory to bad. So, I mean, I guess it's not bad, but it's not good. His weapons are a negative compared to most NFL teams. More NFL teams have better receiving weapons than he does, than worse. So, if he were traded to the Packers and got to play with Davonte Adams, this would not be a downgrade. This would be a good thing. This would be an improvement for his fantasy value. But no, Derek Carr is going to be someone else's franchise quarterback if he's traded. He has been really good. You're not going to find someone better. I think
Carr is a mid QB2 to high QB2 the rest of his career. That's just how it'll play out.
He's also not that old. He's only 31 or 30. He'll be 31 next offseason. So I think he's still got 5-6 years as a quarterback. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I don't either. He's good.
I mean, he's completed now for the 4th straight season. He's completing over 67% of his passes. So he really isn't bad at all. I mean, he had 8.2 yards per attempt this year. That's very, very good. So there's nothing.
There's certain QBs starting in the league that just guarantee Derek Carr will be able to play his career out at least somewhere.
Yeah, 100%. Look at some of the quarterbacks that were starting today. He's gonna be a starter.
He's gonna be a starter. Pretty easy.
Okay. ETN and what draft picks for Saquon? Saquon owner is last place. ETN barely even matters in this deal. I mean, he matters, but what's it gonna cost? ETN in a first or more? Probably more, right?
Probably more. I mean,
but I don't want to pay it anyway.
No, but you're at least gonna have to at least more based off of name value as well, because
Well, ETN's name doesn't carry a lot of value.
Well, I'm talking about Saquon.
No. I know what you meant, but there's no equivalent name value on the other side.
Yeah, that is true.
And we haven't heard anything about ETN. I don't know when he's going to be ready, but it could be a long time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate how that situation all played. I was excited to see him play with Trevor.
Me too, but it didn't work out. Didn't Carr say he would retire if he has to play for another team, or is that all just talk? It's all just talk. Everyone says that.
I remember when Kevin Durant was going to leave OKC. Like things happen.
Or when LeBron was committed to Cleveland for life twice.
Twice. Got him twice.
Yeah. No, this is bullshit. Everyone says this, and nobody means it.
Except Bradley Beal. Well, that's a different sport. That's a different sport.
Bullshit. So no. Okay. So let's. Is there anything else from the games that you specifically wanted to get to?
Well, there's a certain someone I have to talk about that had a huge game.
Who is
for
that?
My team for my team today. How about Davonte Smith with 2 touchdowns today?
What was his line?
Let me pull it up. I saw his line for his last 2 was 9 for 183 and 3 touchdowns. I just forget how much of that.
I was clearing the queue of questions there.
4 for 66 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Is that he caught 2 touchdowns, but touchdowns are not a sticky stat.
Hey, I'm impressed because I was one of those people that was out. I will admit that. Did you see the first touchdown?
No.
He mossed Surtain like 40 yards out. It was pretty
good for him.
It was a nice catch.
Good.
So I'm impressed. Moving him up, at least the rookie wide receiver dynasty ranks, because I had him lower than most people. I'll admit it. So,
all right,
I gotta move up to 2.
Would you prefer? Oh, okay. Would you prefer Devonte Smith? Oh, someone needs to just hit me over the head or something. Devonte Smith or Deontay Johnson? Mr. Fumble.
That was we need a quick aside. That was brutal. That was the game right there.
And Pat Fryermuth did it again.
Oh my god.
Double down.
I was in a group chat. All my friends are Steelers fans because PA and whatnot. My goodness.
At least you have friends.
You friends do. We'll talk about this after the show.
No, part of the reason I get frustrated with the fantasy community is I have too many friends. My life outside of fantasy football is just fine. Like, it's great. I've talked a lot about in my life how recently with some of my friends here in fantasy community and outside of it, how sometimes I feel like this is the only thing that's causing me stress. So, as much as I joke about not having friends, like, very much not the case. I have a lot of people who really support me, especially in my outside life. I always have.
I love to hear that.
Yeah, I know. This has got to get off. I appreciate listening to you both. I look forward to these. Well, you can always listen to the rest later. It's going to be there for you.
Yeah.
I figure most people don't listen to the recaps live. I mean, over 200 people watched our recap last week. And we had like 6 live viewers at most at a time. So most people watched it later.
It'll be that. And if you want to get something answered, we could answer. You come in afternoon on Thursday at 6:00. Like
that too. And also, you know where to find us. Our Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter ads are right. I always do it wrong. Right down there.
You can always
tweet at us.
At me.
Yeah.
I will tell you, every additional person you at when you at me reduces the odds that your question is answered. I don't mean to be annoying about that, but seriously, when you tag me with 20 other people, I get buried in 20 notifications then. And then your question is all the way down there in my notifications feed. Like, seriously, if you just tag me, I'll always respond. Every other person you tag, if 2 other people already answered your question, you don't need me to answer your question. But if you only tag me, I will always respond. I don't mean to be mean about that, but I have had legitimately the last 3 weeks, I have actually gotten a migraine on Sunday morning from trying to keep up with the notifications feed. It has actually become physically difficult for me to do it. I get so many, hundreds. We're talking about hundreds of notifications at a time. And, just not tagging me with a zillion other people really, really does help me out. And I wouldn't keep bringing it up if it wasn't actually kind of annoying. So I appreciate that for anyone listening. It really does help me get to all the questions as fast as I can if I'm not buried in irrelevant notifications. But anyway, what were we talking about before I soapbox? Devonta Smith.
Devonta Smith, yeah.
Yes. Devonta Smith or Deontay Johnson?
This is plucking at the heartstrings, but
A little.
For both sides. I'll take Devonta Smith.
Really?
Deontay Johnson's really good.
I can't get Deontay Johnson just yet.
I'm just higher Devonta Smith. I'm not low on Deontay. I like them both a lot.
I'll have to stick with Deontay Johnson.
I just don't know how they're going to fix that quarterback situation. I know he's going to get all the low A targets, and I'll probably fix that and alleviate that, but
yeah, I'm fine with it. Michael Pittman or Devonta Smith?
Did you see how high Michael Pittman has gotten in like community dynasty rankings?
How high?
I'm pretty sure at Keep Trade Cut this week he was at wide receiver 11.
Okay, so my ranking of wide receiver 13 was pretty good then.
Yeah. You were ahead of the curve.
It's always very much ahead of it, but people always are like, "Oh, you don't use the trade calculators." And I'm like, all right, I think I know what the dynasty market is. I could be wrong, but I have a pretty good handle. But yeah, I would prefer Michael Pittman over Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
So we agree. Let's move on to what about Jerry Judy?
Ooh, I think I might go with Davonte here.
It's funny because Jerry Judy actually had more receptions.
Yeah.
The same game. But the touchdowns went to Devonta Smith.
Actually, pause. Jerry Judy, under the assumption that I still think Rodgers is going there this offseason.
Yeah.
Rodgers with Jerry Judy would be so much fun.
I just think that Jalen Hurts is going to be the Eagles starter, and I don't want that. That's not good.
I don't think that's
Jalen Hurts is good for Jalen Hurts, but he's not good for any player on his team. Anybody, actually.
He's pretty good for Jordan Howard.
Because Jordan Howard can't do anything other than run through wide open gaps. But he also doesn't throw to the running backs, which is killing, Kenneth Gainwell, for example. Miles Sanders in the receiving game.
Yeah.
No, Jalen Hurts is really good for Jalen Hurts, and not so much for anyone else, unfortunately. So I'm still hoping that Denver can fix this problem. I also think Jerry Judy's a better player than Devonta Smith, and I always have. I've been consistent on that. What about Debo Samuel versus Devonta Smith?
This is where it's getting tough. I'll still favor Davonte barely. I think it's a little crowded in San Fran.
Yeah.
With Ayuk coming back. He's not storming back, but he's slowly working his way back in.
I'll still lean Debo Samuel, but I get it. Waddle.
I'll go Davonte.
I'm probably going to stick with Waddle. Waddle's had more volume.
Yeah.
Consistently.
I'll hinge my contingency if it's Tua, then it's Davonte. But if it's Watson, a lot of people think
Watson.
it is,
we know it's gonna be Watson.
It's gonna be Watson. So yeah, I'm forgetting about all the quarterback contingencies that I feel are gonna happen in the offseason in my head. Give me Waddle.
I love Waddle, but I do think Smith closed the gap a little bit this week.
You look good.
And then I think it's pretty easy.
Constantly getting open.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy. After that,
sometimes Jalen Hurts just can't find him.
Smith versus T. Higgins.
T. Higgins is one of those people that is one of those players that his ceiling's capped. I saw a little talk about this on the timeline. His ceiling's capped, but it's still a decent ceiling. I'd still take Davonte, but it's getting close. I really like T. Higgins. I'm a big fan.
Smith or DeAndre Hopkins?
Smith.
Yeah. And that's it, really.
I'm really behind Devonta Smith, huh?
Yeah.
Came around on that one.
Well, anyway. I like, but I've always liked Devonta Smith. I just I still like Devonte Smith.
See, I think I'm under the impression that Jalen Hurts is going to be somewhere else or the backup or.
No, I've changed my mind. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know.
I spent some time looking at mock drafts this week.
Oh. See, I'm just under the impression 3 first-round picks is a lot. I know their defense is awful and they can fix it, but it's just such a Howie thing.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We will. I could tell Devonte Smith's and Jalen Hurts' dynasty value in the offseason is just going to be like a roller coaster.
I know. So that's the game, right?
It's the game, yep.
All right. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? I'm ready with all of my my rants are prepared, but I don't know.
Rants are prepared. You just don't know if I'm going to hit the topic before you do.
Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends on what the topic is.
I mean, we already talked about the Chiefs. We already talked about the Lions and Steelers.
Yeah, or lack thereof.
Yeah, they were on the field today. You know,
they existed. Yeah, they're in a game that was so unwatchable that I don't even know.
You know, there is a player that I do want to mention.
Who?
How about Justin Jefferson today? Doing what we all know we could do.
I love Justin Jefferson. We know this.
I didn't say it had to be a long conversation. I just wanted to bring it up. Did you see some of those catches today?
No, I didn't see very many of them. I think I saw a couple. 9 for 143 is great. 11 targets is great. No, I mean, yeah. So let's look at the top of Dynasty Rankings for a second. One QB? Who would be your 101?
Making me choose between my two guys.
I know.
I'd probably take JT just because
running back scarcity.
Yeah, running back scarcity, and you know what he's been doing.
He's the difference maker. Yeah, I agree. I would take JT. 2?
I'd probably take Chase there.
Chase. 3?
Probably Jefferson. Yeah.
Jefferson. Yeah, I agree. 4?
I'd probably go. You have to keep with the wide receivers. I'd probably go Lamb.
I don't know if I feel like Lamb is enough of a difference maker to be 4. I might stick with Najee.
True.
Swift got 33 carries though. I kind of like that. But
yeah, he was coming up. I
might stick with Najee. Najee actually had a pretty good game.
He's got all those opportunities. I saw something today. Like if he was just average with his opportunities, like with points expected, he'd be like the runaway RB1.
Yeah, but I do think the top 6 is really clear. It's Chase, Taylor, Jefferson, Najee, Swift, and Lamb. I think it's very clear. And then I actually have Kyle Pitts at 7.
Yeah, I was about to say you got to smash Kyle Pitts at 7.
Yeah, but I think the top 6 is very clear. And then it's pretty clear for me to put Kyle Pitts at 7. And then I go to, the guys where I have Metcalf and Brown kind of come in right behind them. And then we kind of have, then it starts to fall off a cliff. Tyreek, you got to rank McCaffrey somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I have Javonte Williams very high.
It's going to happen.
And then you have older guys. I mean, you have to rank Davonte Adams. But really, like, I have, in one QB, I have Tyreek at 10. And, like, Diggs at 29. And how different are those two players? I don't think I want my late first-round startup pick.
I think you pay the price to get into that top 6 or
you trade back into the second or third.
If you're doing one, either go up or go down. Like I wouldn't mind going up to 7 if you couldn't squeeze in the top 6. And
I'd much rather take like 3 of, like, if I could take Michael Pittman, Jalen Waddle, and a future first instead of picking Tyreek Hill, I would love to do that.
I agree, especially in a startup.
Yeah, exactly. But Yeah, it's such a weird way that the top of the value range works. Yeah. Were there a lot of injuries today?
As far as I saw, no. I mean,
Aaron Jones, I
yeah,
know,
Aaron Jones was the one.
sprained MCL. He'll miss time. McCaffrey had some in and out.
It was really weird.
He better not miss more time because I don't think people are going to forgive him again.
He came back in. He came
good. Back in, so hopefully he's okay. Dallas Goddard had a head injury.
Mm-hmm.
He went out early and never came back.
Yeah,
that could be. I mean, but we know with concussions, you can be Tyrell Williams and miss the whole season, or you can be Zach Moss and you're back this week. So Ramondre Stevenson, same thing. Okay. So we have no idea.
I mean,
about Dallas Goddard, but it could be serious. Any concussion can be serious. So that's something
200%.
important.
Terry got hurt. I think it was his collarbone during the game, but he came back.
Yes. No concerns.
Baker.
About right. Baker. Yeah, the knee injury with Baker, that could be serious. That could be serious. It didn't look like he was coming back in. It didn't even look like he could have come back in if the game were close. Dearness Johnson got every single running back touch. 19 for 99, 758 through the air. So, yeah. I do think that there's a good chance they save the money and release Kareem Hunt and save $6 million.
He would be a fit in Buffalo.
He'd be a fit almost anywhere.
Exactly.
But Dearness Johnson, I think, has earned he's earned a role somewhere. Like, I don't think he's just going to return to complete and utter irrelevance. Thing is, though, he's a restricted free agent after this year, and I bet the Browns tendered him. So,
200%.
Possible he could be their third running back again. But I really hope not. He's someone I think, would be nice if he got out of there.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, some that already did get out of there.
Yeah. I mean, it's always possible.
Cleveland's just not an ideal spot for fantasy.
No, it's not. Especially not behind Chubb. Although Chubb has missed a lot of time lately for a variety of reasons.
I know it's not fantasy related, but I wanted to bring up Chase Young. I'm heartbroken about that.
I know. That was brutal. That was brutal. I will say that was absolutely brutal.
Just tough. I hate to see it. I want to see him back.
No, I do. I hate to see it because he's one of the most exciting young defensive players in the league. Even as a Giants fan, we're playing against him.
Oh, same.
It's tough. Yeah, you're an Eagles fan, so you would know the same.
See him a lot, but he's talented. I can't wait for him to get back. And I hope TJ Watt's all right
when he's on the field.
Yeah. Won 2 big ones today.
Other than that, I feel like I have honestly, I feel like I have nothing left to give for people. So, I'm glad we were able to talk about some of the storylines from some of these games. And I do a storylines article. I do that little watching guide on Sunday. I'm about to put the link in the chat. And then Monday morning, what we call the Monday hangover article. And believe me, I definitely feel like I'm a hangover right now, and certainly will tomorrow. There's the link. Monday hangover comes out where I kind of review those storylines and put them into context. But yeah, take one last chance to plug your work in case the people have forgotten.
Well, I'm here a lot. I'll be here on Thursday as well. You can find my tweets down. I always use the wrong hand.
Oh my God.
_FF. You can find my writing at the Dynasty Vipers. I do waiver wire articles weekly. Love to do them. And then we're still in talks of picking the show back up with me, Matt, and Spence.
You guys have to pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to pick it up again.
So yeah, as for my stuff, I mean, my Twitter's right there. The articles for DLF, who's really, honestly, they've been supporting me, even though I've been having a tough time, obviously. And they've supported me through that. So I really appreciate them, for sticking with me both as a writer and, as on Ask DLF on that show. They have definitely said multiple times that if I need to take some time away that I could. and that everything would be right back for me when I came back. I don't plan to do that, but they've been really supportive with me, both personally and professionally throughout my time there. So, Dynasty League football is as great as people say. So, as someone who's been there firsthand, I can fully endorse that their reputation has been earned and is accurate. And I just thank them for having me. Other than that, my Twitter and my Patreon is patreon.com/fantasy advice. We know this by now. And then there's this channel. You're here. Please like and subscribe the video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. That's how it tells YouTube that people are enjoying this content. And I know from personal testimonies, people talking to people, that people are enjoying this content. So, we just need YouTube to let YouTube hear you. Let YouTube hear your opinion that you like this content. Because that way more people will see it and more people will get to enjoy the content that you like, and you get to help me share it with the rest of the world. Sure. So that will go a long way to helping me grow, helping this channel grow, helping spread this fantasy advice to other people. And other than that, I think that's everything. So I hope everyone had enjoyed a good day of football today. I thought it was a pretty fun day. Oh. And I will be yeah. Somehow I will be right back at it this week, doing all of my content. Hopefully, it's another week of the grind. I won't lie. I'm looking to the end of the season at this point, but I will be there because I love you guys. I love you guys. It's the support from my patrons, the people who watch this channel, people who watch STLF, people who talk to me on Twitter. It's the support from all of you that keeps me going. So thank you. And I'll see you on Thursday.
See you guys.